right, so as I mentioned, I just recently got a grant to start a podcast where I interview bike messengers, and we might want to speak loudly. We're out here in front of St. Stephen's Church, and it's the 40th anniversary of the positive force movement.
Sure.
And so I'm interviewing people, and I just want to get the basics on some people who are bike messengers. I'd like to know what year you started as a messenger, how old were you at the time, the company you worked for, and then how long you're a messenger, and then maybe an anecdote or two about the whole messenger thing.
Sure. So my name's Adam. I started in 96. I worked for WEX, Washington Express.
Did you show up on a fixed gear?
No. I used to ride mountain bikes. That was my deal. I like the mountain bike on the road. And I did it for about 10 years.
10 years, hell yeah.
So off and on.
So were you in with the messenger scene? So 96, that was kind of a messenger peak of sorts, where the alley cats and the culture was huge. Did you hang out with that crew?
I hung out with I hung out with a lot of the guys that I used to skate with, So a lot of the skaters, like Sonny was my big, it still is one of my best friends. Dave.
And so you guys were street flatland skaters?
Yeah.
And so you were like Freedom Plaza or?
Always. So just the freedom. Yeah, exactly.
So because in the 80s there was a huge bike messenger contingency that were also skaters, but they were ramp skaters. It was the Cedar Crest crew.
Totally, yeah.
But that was the 80s.
Yeah.
It was vert skating.
I want to say, this is going to sound, whatever, but when black people started getting involved with skating, it became street skating, So, of course there were black riders on the vert, but in the city, the 90s was all about street skating.
Well, I think it was maybe a trend of the sport, I think the racial component, it's funny because I'm trying to get a vibe on what year it was. I was in high school, I was downtown, and I had a really weird experience. It's a funny little story because it explained itself later. I'm in DuPont Circle hanging out thinking I'm cool, drinking beer with punk rock people. I'm 14, 15 years old, and there's this kid shows up, shaved head, no eyebrows, he looks crazy, and he's a skinhead, and he's like, oh, hey, how you doing? I'm Todd, blah, blah, blah. He's super high energy and super wired, and he's telling me how he's in agnostic front. And I'm whatever. And then I see him we become kind of friendly, and I see him a few times, and he's like, dude, child services coming to get me. Hang on to my Doc Martens and my skateboard. And so he had this Crip stick. It was like a shitty skateboard. It was whatever, I wasn't a good skateboarder, so I didn't make it ever. So he gives me this, and I'm hanging out, and I'm skateboarding, I run into these two guys. And long story short is they were black, and they blew me away, and it turned out they were half-pipe skaters and stuff like that. But it's true, I think some of the skateboard thing was since there weren't necessarily, there became an area where there was the Vans park culture. A lot of it was rich kids with skateboard ramps in their backyard, and the skateboard ramp could cost 10 grand to make, now 30 grand because it's more expensive. So I get you. So I think it did economically discriminate, because who can, unless you're stealing the wood, which is what I did when Swizz comes on tonight. Those guys, Jason Farrell on guitar, those guys stole the wood and built a ramp in the woods on Connecticut Avenue.
I think that's why I like bike messengering and couriering, and there's such a connection between skating in the street and riding your bike in the street, especially on a track bike. But, just anticipation, being creative, judging what your environment is and, reacting to it. It's such a correlation, And so, look, being a bike messenger is the best job in the world, You're a private contractor. You can either get as much as you put into it or not, and you can either be serious and successful about it or not, and it doesn't matter. That's kind of like the same thing as skating, so I don't.
Do you still skate?
I cruise. I don't skate. But I ride my board here and there, but my body's too old to really,
And so what do you, we'll close it out. What are you doing now?
I'm a DC firefighter.
That's fantastic. How long have you been a DC firefighter?
8 years.
8 years.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And we'll leave it at that.
All right.
quick. All right.
Suicide, one of the better ones, this guy named Suicide.
I'm definitely going to have him on.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Suicide and Ozone were legends in their moment.
Yeah.
But you're Skeeter, you're the bass player for Scream.
Yeah, Enoch now, but yeah. I go by Enoch now.
Enoch, I'm sorry. So you're Enoch, and so you worked as a messenger, and what was your first year? How long did you work as a messenger?
I worked for probably like 3 or 4 years. Started off in Washington, went to Speedy, and got fired from there. I remember more hanging out at DuPont Circle in downtime.
What were the years? What year did you start? What year did you
80, had to be like 85 until like 88. 84 to 88.
And yeah, so like DuPont Circle in its heyday, how many messengers after work do you think were in the park?
At least 100. It was a pack of, it was like a pack of marmots. Like prairie dogs. We were like all over the place. And it was the best times was like afterwards when everybody passing around beers and everybody making a beer run. You buy, I fly was a the common phrase. And when the cops would always roll in, because the cops would try to roll in and bust us, because we're always smoking weed and drinking in public. But we had a call from the cop, Murphy, like that, and the cops would never know. They'd have undercover people there, and how do they always know when we're coming in? They start saying, people need the undercover people too. And they get busted once or twice. No, that's undercover.
Hell yeah. It's an amazing culture. The culture had a progression.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people in your era, there were a lot of musicians that were messengers because they liked the freedom. They liked the ability to come in, make some money, and then go on tour or whatever.
Yeah, you can always come back and find a gig, yeah.
And so what's the root of the name Enoch?
Enoch.
Is that a religious name?
A spiritual movement, not religious, but more spiritual. Sort of got arrested. When you're in jail, you have a lot of time to think. So I sort of found my roots again, my spirituality, because I had lost it. After the days of being a courier and being in bands, I got caught up in that lifestyle. But so when I got incarcerated, I was in there for 8 months, and just a lot of time to think over things, find myself again. Pretty awesome.
Well, it's a great story. I'm glad you came out better on this end.
Yeah, man. Yeah. What's your name?
Joel.
Yeah. I got another friend that does photography. His name is Joel, too. He sort of reminded me, I was like...
Different Joel.
Yeah.
Well, let me let you go. And so it's awesome that Scream's still a band.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are killing it.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Yeah.
You guys were awesome in the day and are awesome now.
Yeah, we're still pumping it out, man. Still representing.
So what bands are you looking to most at this little thing?
Oh, man. Mafa.
Who just played?
Mafa was the second band. You had White Picket Fence. All of them, really. Definitely Swizz. I haven't seen Swizz in years. Scream went on tour with Soul Size, and we also played a couple gigs with Girls vs. Boys. So, and I just saw them again. All the bands here did a plan. It's excellent.
It's true.
It was great seeing Kevin second. Great acoustic set. He's got a great little vibe. Yeah, all the bands. It's great being back in DC. I live upstate now, so it's like coming home, like a homecoming.
That's awesome.
Yo, how can you have a podcast?
Okay, so let me power this down, and I'll give you so.
Church. What is it, the 40th for John or something like that? Yeah. So many 40s.
You know what? I got something to say. This is really fucking fun to do again. We haven't done it in a long time, and I personally want to say thank you to Johnny Temple for putting out this crazy project, and then
Thank you very much.
and then to Mark Anderson, who offered us this and said, was the motivation behind all of us talking on a regular basis and trying to do this. And it's been just in my own personal home in Brooklyn, it's super fun to talk about because it's all happening. And so thanks for coming out.
Well put, Mrs. Well put. Read.
those guys.
All of our kids are here. It's been long enough since we've been this before. They are our children, and now they're old enough to come to a church.
I want to really quickly thank Gene and Joint Custody and fucking Ukulele to go apart. They got 2 locations. They were incredibly sweet and nice enough to let us practice there.